What's up, you nerds? Welcome back. Josh is going on vacation, so we're gonna throw three shorties at you, about 40 minutes each, and you're welcome.
That has different meanings, different on what region.
Anyway, yeah, we're basically gonna go over everything that happened in San Diego Comic-Con
and
for Marvel, and then some.
So next 3 episodes are going to be chopped up for that.
That's right. So stay tuned.
Also, Vince and I need to sleep after VidCon. So.
Yeah, brought to you by Spandex. Because we're yellow Spandex. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Now to the episode.
Let's hang out.
Mr. Cricket, welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Shooby-doo-bop of yellow Spandex.
Today we're going to spoil Lion King 2019. Actually, did you see that?
I did not see it. I heard nothing but like good things about it.
Really? I saw all bad reviews. So I prepared myself. And then I went to go see it and I was like, I really liked it. I mean, it's definitely not better than the original.
I stayed under a rock until I was able to see it.
I didn't even see any details really about it. It was just like people that I normally agree with were like, oh, it's the voyage into the uncanny valley. And I'm like, oh, I could understand their criticisms. Then I saw it and I was like, this was delightful.
Yeah.
As long as you just have to like suspend your disbelief because it is like photoreal, but like animals are singing and dancing and stuff. It's like
it's pretty
But
funny.
if I couldn't suspend my disbelief, then maybe the movie about talking lions wasn't what I should go to.
Probably. They didn't even look very real. Like even when they weren't talking.
When they're moving, they're pretty real. Like it was crazy. I mean, if nothing else, like the technological advancements, like holy crap.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool. But it was basically like I said this on my Facebook page, but it was like a 90% like shot for shot recreation.
Yeah.
And then like a handful of surprises that were really fun. So the only real spoilers aren't even like plot things. It's just like little improv moments that play off the original one that are mostly between Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
It's Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That were just so funny. And John Oliver.
Yeah.
Like those three, there was 2 moments between those 3 separate times that were just small things that I know they meant as jokes, but not like full on jokes. And I couldn't hold myself. Like I almost peed myself in the theater. It was just so funny. Like, I don't even know if they'd be funny to other people. It was just like these little comments and things.
Kind of like cats.
We're not even talking about that.
Oh, sorry.
No, we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. But I don't know. My take, I like Lion King. I even think the Beyonce song they added into like one of the main scenes, I think it fit. I like the album. There's so much weird music. So there's the new Lion King soundtrack, which is the old one with 2 new features. The new singers, obviously. And also supposedly Hans Zimmer wanted to do the soundtrack as he wanted to do it originally, but that they were on a time crunch to the first time around in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I can't tell that much of a difference, but good for him. He got to do it the way he wanted. And then Beyonce just dropped a new album that's Lion King themed.
Yep.
That has like quotes from Lion King stuff. That's actually really good.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
But I don't know. So she has a song that's like inserted in the movie. Not that any character sings. It's just like a needle drop, like montage thing.
There's these little interludes, that follow the plot of the story,
Yeah.
So you're getting like kind of her version of the scene.
So I dug it. I thought it was a cool song. I honestly expect to see like churches across the country, like Christian churches across the country, like performing this song.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It's straight up like our old spiritual.
Like a gospel kind of thing.
She even says like, like worship the great I am and stuff like that. I mean, it's clearly like a religious song. So it's beautiful. African choir, all that stuff. But my 2 things that I want to point out though with that movie, if you go see it, I saw a criticism that said like, be prepared if you were a fan of Be Prepared. Because it's not there.
Mm-hmm. What?
We saw it. The whole song's in there. It was the whole song and dance. I think you just don't have like Timon and Pumbaa and like the coconut bra and stuff. But Scar did his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, he sang it. He spoke it. He presented to the hyena. The whole scene happened. So I don't know what version.
How was it against like Jeremy Irons' version? Because I mean, like that's so classic. Mm-hmm. That it's like I feel like it's just like all these other ones where you're like, I feel like this is a personal slight. Whenever they remake a movie like this, like
obviously they weren't doing like the Hellfire and everything and stuff, but like so Jon Favreau, I saw him talk about this later. He said his whole idea was like, with the exception of the animals speaking, they wanted to like be shot like a National Geographic documentary. So there's like a lot of long lenses and things because like we're not used to seeing like photoreal lines like close.
Yeah.
So like they did all that stuff. To me, it was fun. I mean, it's once again clearly not better than the original. But like I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of like if schools across the country are allowed to do plays about this, and there's a big Broadway musical, this was a pretty decent version. Like, be prepared. I don't think you can compare it to the energy of the first one, but I thought it was cool. Like, then the second thing was my only criticism, really, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping on this, and this is not even really a surprise because most people saw like previews of this. When they sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," it's like in the middle of the day. And that was the only thing that kind of bothered me because, like, the lyrics Timon and Pumbaa, I even forgot until the scene happened, like, how explicitly at night it was supposed to be. Because, like, they're talking about, like, twilight of the nighttime and how beautiful it is, and then "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" And they're just romping around in the afternoon.
Well, I think, like, at the beginning of the song, like, they leave Timon and Pumbaa, and it's, like, probably towards the evening. And then, like, as the sun kind of goes down by the end of that song, obviously love making time.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like I went back and watched the original scene. It was kind of like getting dark when the song started. This one, it's clearly like high noon. Like, and then at the very end, like right before it ends, it's like where the song started in the cartoon version. Like, it starts getting dark. So I was like, okay, I'm sure there was a decision behind that, or like we need to show off all the technology. I don't know, whatever. But that was the only real problem. Or maybe they were thinking like, well, Lion's not going to run across the desert in the middle of the night because after he has a realization after that song, you know, like maybe, I don't know. But I thought it was fun, like cool soundtrack.
For me, like the moment Mufasa started to talk to Simba in the very beginning of the movie, I already started like welling up with like tears and feelings of all nostalgia from the original movie. So that was like, okay, good start. Like,
he's the only guy from the original that they had, right?
I'm also not certain if they just reused his lines from the original one.
That'd be awesome.
Because there's behind the
separate
scenes.
takes.
Well, there's behind the scenes of him re-recording his lines. If it wasn't for that, I'd be like, well, maybe they just use the old ones. But now I'm like, what if they just didn't? What if they just like had him in and told him? Or, I don't know, like, because the lines really aren't different. I'll have to go back and do a 1-to-1. But they seem like pretty.
Maybe he's just dead on, like repeating it. Like, hold on, I got this down. Simba.
But Beyonce's perfect as adult Nala.
I'd be like, do your Darth Vader.
Do the thing.
But
sing it like Darth Vader.
The John Oliver as Zazu was probably the most perfect casting of the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was dead on. I totally
awesome.
forgotten that Rowan Atkinson was the original Zazu.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Mr. Bean was effing like Zazu this whole time. Like, and then we have John. And then that was one of the little surprises. John Oliver gets a couple moments where he's just John Oliver.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil it, but I didn't even get the joke until we were with our friend Ali Spagnola earlier today. And she's like, "Did you think that?" And she seems like, "How funny that was." I was like, "I didn't even catch that."
Yeah.
He just like stepped into John Oliver for like 10 seconds as a joke, like a meta joke. I was like, "Oh, that's so funny." But Timon and Pumbaa, like, hands down, steal the show.
Yeah, I love those two, by the way.
Yeah.
Billy Eichner and
Seth
Seth Rogen. That feel like they would be amazing together, just in general.
Seth Rogen can't sing like the original Pumbaa did.
Yeah,
but they kind of play it off.
They get it close.
Well, like, remember the original like Hakuna Matata when he's like, "When I was a young warthog," and the original singer like hits the note.
Yeah,
Seth doesn't, and they kind it's all kind of part of like the play.
It's like auto-tuned.
There is
not even.
You made a good point earlier that there's like two points of the original that aren't in this new one. One of them was that you said was the coconut thing, and then the second one is Zazu singing that coconut song. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, diddly dee. And when Scar's like sitting there, and then Zazu's in the cage, you know, made of bones.
That's another thing. They didn't do anything that like. What's the word? Like, kind of architecturally wouldn't exist in nature. So there were no like bone cages, stuff like that. But like Scar,
way weird.
Looks like that's how I imagine like a real life Scar looking. Like, they got him with the long face, and he had like the
They killed it. Yeah,
he looked almost like he might have been the runt or something, and that's why he was kind of weaker. And then the hyenas are like the ugliest things I've ever seen. Like, they did a really good job.
I feel like they're pretty ugly in real life.
Yeah,
I said they look like they just came out of a fire.
Ragged.
They're like dogs that just came out of a fire.
Yeah,
they look like
you look at him, you're like, I already don't like you by the way you look. You know, but
it's good.
Some of the characters changed a little bit. Yeah, so I'm used to Whoopi Goldberg being the leader, and it was kind of goofy.
Wasn't Cheech Marin for the other one?
Yeah, it wasn't Ed. It was the other one, right?
Yeah, Ed was just making noise.
Yeah, well, Ed was another like name, like A-list actor kind of thing. But in this one, it was a bunch of like other like really great actors. One of them was not Jordan Peele.
Oh, Key.
Yeah, what's his first name? From Key and Peele, it's Key.
Jordan Key?
No, it's Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele?
And then who's the other guy?
Apple?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Michael Key?
Michael Key.
Tim?
He was one of the hyenas, and he's pretty funny.
It was super silly.
But the leader that used to be Whoopi Goldberg is like really serious in this one.
Right.
Aww.
So it wasn't as disappointing. So much other goofy stuff was happening.
Also, forgot that it was Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought it was fun. I think it's better than Aladdin, but we were talking to our friend Allie. She liked Aladdin better than this one. I think it's literally just like your personal preferences with these.
I mean, it kind of has to be because you carry so much baggage from watching the original ones as a kid, you know?
What I would say, though, is like in Aladdin, they weren't concerned about like remaking the story. They were just kind of, it was like a scrapbook of like, oh, remember that part, without really worrying about connecting them. Lion King is straight up just that if you saw the original, you know every single thing that happens. Yeah. Like there's no surprises besides a couple little anecdotal jokes. Like there's 10% extra like surprises that I thought were funny, but they don't affect the plot at all.
I wonder how well this one did compared to the other ones because I know Favreau did the Jungle Book one.
Yeah.
And that one seems to be one that people like a lot more than the other ones.
I need to see that still.
Yeah, me too. Supposedly, Favreau said that finishing Jungle Book is when the production for Lion King started.
Oh, wow. So it's been going on for a very long time.
Let me see if there's Lion King box office here.
Yes.
Oh, that was a large number. That's not the right one.
That can't be it.
No, it's tough because you type it in, it's like that was 95.
Yeah, no, that one, Lion King for the old movies was, I think, the biggest grossing of all of them. Mm-hmm. So.
I'm sorry. I keep like staring at this one article on the board here. It says Russo brothers to develop Gatchaman, Battle of the Planet adaptation. Is that what that says?
Yeah, I don't know. It looked anime to me, so I was wondering if you knew what it was.
So yeah, this is called G-Force, not Gatchaman. Unless G-Force was like what they fed us white kids.
I'm sure that's probably true.
And then what it's actually called is Gatchaman.
Okay, so Lion King did pretty well.
Yeah, how
opening weekend was 531 million.
500
that's
million
worldwide.
Wow.
Holy crap!
But they said it's the 9th highest movie this year, so not too bad. I mean, not the best one.
Well, I mean, you got how many Marvel movies in front of it?
It's like
how much did
8 Marvel movies and then Lion King?
How many
it
times
definitely did better than Dark Phoenix. So
how many Lion Kings do we need to fit into how much Endgame made?
How many can you fit in? Which just the other day finally passed Avatar, I guess.
Saw that.
And so it was funny because like I kept seeing things were like, yay, it's past Avatar. And I was like, yay. And they're like, no, not yet. And I'm like, oh.
Oh.
And then it was like, yay.
There.
And I'm like, oh, cool. They passed it.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Isn't it crazy though? Like
what
how,
is this actual thing?
Like what other movie? It's going to come out on home release in like 2 weeks or something, right? Like a week or something.
I don't know.
I think the end of July, which is like a week from now, I think it's coming out home release. Like what movie can still be getting that kind of box office numbers?
Yeah.
Like this close to the home release.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been out since May. Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy to think. One of the other like really awesome parts of the movie that I like took the time to appreciate was how gorgeous some of the photorealism was. There's that scene in the movie and in the animation where Simba is like chasing a bug and he's like trying to roar at the bug and the bug won't fly away, so he keeps chasing it. The bug that thing really looked real. Like
a lot of the stuff, yeah.
Some of the environments and stuff, I really did think it was like real.
Before some of the animals start talking, like you're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Jon Favreau did say one of his goals was to prove that you don't need to like have animals on set to like utilize them, and stuff, because I guess in the opening shot where like all the the classic Circle of Life scene, there's a shot where like all the animals are kneeling, and he was like, here's a sad fact. In the time of production, he circled like this rhino is now extinct, and he was like, but hopefully for the rest of the animals that are still in this, like we won't have to capture them to put them in movies. Like this technology can like put them in without having, because for every one animal you see on screen, there's probably like 7 that have been trained for like something,
Yeah.
So that whole thing is like, well, if we want to do like photo real stuff with like exotic or like endangered animals, we don't have to like pull them in to like
How often do they do that though anymore? Though I mean, I feel like that's kind of dropped off the map since like the 90s.
So they said up until recently they would pull animals in, even if just to like animate them. They would pull them in for reference.
Oh, okay.
And so like this is supposed to start a database of like animals that they can pull into other movies.
So like rotoscoping, like just for
kind of, yeah. Well, like now they have like a database of like behaviors and stuff that they can like apply to other films with like these wild animals and stuff. So they want to
just drop them.
I think he wants to kind of unofficially start like this thing where like any Hollywood production, or at least Disney ones, which is already Hollywood, can like, if we want a rhino, we can put this in and not have to worry about like pulling something in for reference.
That sounds crazy to like, hey, we need a rhino in here. Like, let's get a rhino. Those things are freaking dangerous.
Yeah. Well, he was citing how like in Bambi, they pulled in a bunch of like deer and like wild animals into the studio to like observe. And they're like, those days are like long gone because like that's inhumane now.
Yeah, like PETA and everything's like, nope.
Yeah. But also you think about it, it's like the lifespan of those animals would be for that film.
Oh,
just to make a movie, it's like, huh?
I mean, like deer, to be honest, like being in the Midwest, and like they would just walk up to you a lot of times. So like, I'm sure they have a lot of people that are just like, hey, follow me, Cheerios, and now you're my pet.
But it's kind of a cool concept though, because some of those things like they got so close. He also was talking about how they made a lot of the backdrop look beautiful and natural by not doing the most extravagant things. Like he showed this scene of Pride Rock. He's like, we had a choice here to put in like a really fantastic sky. He's like, but you put in too many of those scenes, and then the human brain subconsciously like you got too lucky in your photography. Like if you really had a documentary, one of those 10 scenes would be a beautiful sky, and the rest of them would kind of be like normal. So he put more normal skies in, and it just like looks more natural. Like the whole Pride Rock scene, like I don't know, it was cool. I mean, I'm not gonna like go out of my way to like rewatch this like every month or something, but like as far as the theater experience and the live action so far, like I was like I enjoyed my 2 hours in this theater, listening to the songs I remember as a kid, and like just watching the story, kind of reliving it. You know?
Yeah. Everybody, voice actor wise, they all did great.
It's got 1 billion people in it. I mean, you see the billboard on this like covered in like names
Stars.
instead of pictures. You're like, wait a minute, what? Who's on there?
It was pretty cool. Even Donald Glover like makes a really good like adult Simba, and
Beyonce.
So when I listened to the recording on the album Can You Feel the Love Tonight, Donald Glover sounds like really low in the mix and Beyonce's like super high, but in the theater it's not. So I don't know if they did alternate mixes or like they just like cheated like a 5-1 mix into like a stereo or something. But
maybe.
Like, they both sound good. And a bunch of people told me, like, well, Donald Glover's not really a singer. It's like, he's Childish Gambino.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like Redbone, he didn't just rap, he like sang the whole song. So like he's a singer, like. And the kid who was young Simba, totally reminds me of the original Simba singing voice.
Definitely,
JTT.
Who's that?
Justin Taylor.
Well, he didn't sing though, did he?
I don't know. I think he might have sang.
Really? If it was him, good job. Because I remember the original singer like sounding like a really young like choir kid. Like this. He was pretty good. Even I was waiting though, because one of the first songs you hear is "I Just Can't Wait to Be King." And I'm like, we're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun.
It sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Well, it's because like that's the first time you see like a real far departure from realism. Like your brain, my brain could like be like, okay, they talk, sure. But then because you remember like the temple of animals, like the pyramid of animals they make. Obviously that didn't happen, but they had some really creative like things. Like they did a perspective shot where like the camera zooms back and the animals kind of like formed on the ground like a triangle, like a formation or something, and things. So like Jon Favreau said that like for a lot of those scenes, they pulled natural like movements, like the way giraffes bow and like lower their heads and stuff. They just happened to synchronize them, and that's the suspensing the disbelief and stuff. I was like, I bought it, and Zazu, instead of getting like crushed by a bunch of animals, gets like caught up in a swarm of birds and stuff like that. It's all like
makes sense.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
trying to be slightly more realistic.
Oh, a lot more. Yeah, I would say.
So I don't know.
There's a few things that are kind of out there, like when after Scar takes over, and all the land's like effed up, and there's like bones everywhere. Like obviously that wouldn't necessarily happen.
Although I will say something I won't go into too much detail about because it'll spoil one of the nicer surprises. In the original movie, how like when Simba's like has that after the Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and then like the stars like magic dust go to Rafiki, and then he knows he's alive. they did something else that I thought was so much more meaningful and much cooler there. So as it was happening, I was like so happy. And then when it finally like kind of comes to like Rafiki and stuff, I'm like, that was pretty brilliant. Like that made me well up.
I really wanted Rafiki to be Kanye West.
Well, and so that was another thing. Rafiki, instead of just being like magically omniscient, he just paid attention to shit where everybody else was like too preoccupied with things, and you could just tell like he just like sits back and like observes, and that's why he knows everything. And I kind of like that take too, where it's like if you just calm down and like pay attention to everything, you know a lot more than the people that are like, you know, like crazy and stuff.
Freaking out.
Little things, but
overall good.
Better
than the original, probably.
Speaking
not.
of felines filled with like tons of like famous actors.
On the opposite end of the CG spectrum.
So we went from lions, now we're at cats.
There's a joke. Did you watch Pitch Meeting for Lion King?
No, I didn't.
So at the end of it, they were like, you know, so for Lion King, I want to do like photoreal, like faces on cat bodies and stuff, human faces on cat bodies. And they're like, absolutely not. And they're like, fine, I'll just take it to another studio that'll do it. And they flashed the trailer for Cats. I was like, this is so uncanny, not in a good way.
Odd. It's very bad CGI. I mean, like someone was joking earlier that was like, okay, Sonic, step back, you know?
Because like I don't know like if people who didn't live in the was it the early 90s when this was a huge thing in Broadway?
No way, it had to be way before that.
Was it 80s?
I thought it was 80s.
Wow.
At least, but like Les Mis and everything else was like getting.
So
it's got to be 80s.
So for people who didn't live through that, like they probably don't know why they're humanoid cats.
Yeah.
So we all lived through that, so we know why. This is homage to like the cat outfits and stuff.
I feel like the big ones were like Les Mis and Rocky Horror Picture Show and this.
Into the
and
Woods.
that weird 80s vibe.
And it's just weird that the character CGI seems so half-baked for something this scale.
With this many amazing actors and well-known people in it, like, or singers or whatever, you know?
An Andrew Lloyd Webber score. Like, you're not just talking about, like, Greatest Showman. You're talking about, like, the godfather of Broadway musical. It's like his music and stuff. It's just weird. I'm hoping that by the time this hits theaters, they'll be like, oh, we just needed to do another render pass.
Like this the first face on this stinking thing right here. Hold on, let me back it up. Look at that. Look at how bad that is.
Like,
Oof.
yeah. Well, even our friend Allie was like, you can almost see the faces floating in the thing. And it's like, man, I don't want to be too critical because I couldn't do this. But at the same time, like, this is how many millions of dollars? Like,
they spent all their money on actors. Because do you see how many amazing like actors and whatnot are in this?
And I don't know this lead gal, so she must be a new, or if she's notable, she must be like in Broadway or something, because I'm not familiar with her. But the inclusion of Taylor Swift seems interesting, but I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I'll have to see it. This is an interesting choice too, because I'm not even that big of a Broadway fan, but historically, the song "Memories" isn't a belted song; it's a pure soprano.
Yeah, it's very
like head voice,
very soft
song. So even the climactic part is like it's in like head voice.
Yeah.
So for it to be like a gospel belt is like a really interesting, purposeful choice for them to like. I guess they just wanted Jennifer Hudson to sing the song or something.
Guess so.
But sure,
blast it. It's supposed to be like this somber song because the cat's like dying.
Yeah, I don't even know the story of Cats. I never got to see it. And
I don't know. My wife loves musicals. Hates Cats.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know what to do.
I mean, I remember Memories.
actually-
I thought it was a cool song.
I've
Like,
seen Cats, like I've seen like a VHS of Cats, but I've never like gotten into it or went past that.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
It's just funny that it
comes
just
out.
like crashed the internet like after like what the heck is this?
Yeah, everybody
My-
was like, "Whoa!"
My favorite thing is somebody on Twitter replaced the soundtrack to this trailer with the soundtrack from Us. It works much better, and apparently Jordan Peele like supports it. He's like, "Yes, let's do this movie," because it's like the dun dun dun.
He's doing
I
so
got
many things.
5 on it.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun. And it's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. 'cause
He's doing
it's-
like the Lorena Bobbitt movie or
Really?
whatever. Yeah.
Wow, what year is it?
I don't know.
Holy cow, this is all 90s stuff.
I don't know.
Why is that even a thing you would want to recreate?
Because he for all the stuff that he's done. I mean, when he did what, like the Alfred Hitchcock stuff or the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
And then he did doing horror movies, doing funny horror movies. Like he's just all over the place. I mean, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love
he's
the
brilliant.
dude.
Definitely.
And he's a nerd.
Yeah. Interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Like
he sweats a lot.
I'm not.
Not just playing.
And he sweats a lot.
I'm not quite here for Cats just yet, but we'll see when it comes out.
Maybe it could surprise you and just be amazing. Who knows?
That's the thing that kind of stinks. I think part of like what worked for me in Lion King was like the story's so good, and they literally didn't change anything about the story. So it's like there's a part of me that already 50% of it was already there. So it's like when someone butchers like a song in karaoke, like I like that song.
Yeah.
So. And
what else we got before we end here? We're doing some quick ones for this week, probably 30 minutes or so for all of these because I'm going on vacation and we gotta stock some up, boys.
So this would be a good quick one. The Mortal Kombat movie. So they slated it for not next year, but the year after, which is going to be a rough year to try to release movies because isn't there like 7 Marvel projects coming out?
Oh wow. Oh yeah, 2021.
Insanity. We talk about that next time, so stay tuned if you want to hear about that. But the Mortal Kombat movie, we talked about before, they're filming in South Australia. It's going to be the biggest action production they've ever had. They've casted Sub-Zero. I can't remember his name. Some people know him from something else. I don't know him. That has like implied to a lot of people that this might be a Sub-Zero Scorpion-centric story if they're casting those things first.
Well, that's good.
Which would be cool because they're like the legendary rivalry in Mortal Kombat.
They seem like they're the most fun to me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's a good duality, like fire and ice, and stuff. And like, if you don't know the story, in Mortal Kombat 1, the story was that Sub-Zero killed Scorpion's like wife and daughter.
Yeah.
And then killed him, but then like he like came back from hell and like hunted down Sub-Zero and stuff. Fast forward to Mortal Kombat 11, they're best friends. You're going to have to catch up on that on your own. It is really good writing, though, in my opinion, because otherwise it'd be like, oh, that's kind of cheap. But when you actually see like how the story progressed over the last decade, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm going through story mode now on our stream.
Mob Crush.
On Mob Crush on Fridays, and it's actually really well written.
So to have that duality, it's like, and also, like you said, it's probably the most like iconic. Like people who don't know Mortal Kombat be like, I know those guys. Like,
get over here, guy. That guy.
So they cast Sub-Zero. I can't remember his name. I don't know. Also, I forget if they announced a director or something, but someone in charge of the project like stated that it's going to be a hard R with fatalities, which is going to be kind of cool it's going to be cool, but it's going to be tough because fatalities in the video game are cool because the characters can just keep coming back, but like. Everybody has a different favorite character in Mortal Kombat. So, like, it's going to be tough to kill off people if you're planning on this being, like, a franchise to keep going and stuff.
Maybe they'll make it to where, like, they don't really die somehow.
There's a kind of way to do that as if they stay in, like, current Mortal Kombat canon, but to a certain extent. And I don't even know, like, how well it would translate to a movie because the video game storyline and reasoning is so ridiculous that I don't know if it's believable otherwise. But maybe. I don't know. Like,
how many realms are there?
7? 5 to 7, forget like that.
So they could get into the realms.
Definitely. But I don't know. My kind of prediction is they'll like, well, it depends. So if you have like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, they can keep coming back because their backstories kind of allow for that cycle to happen. But like if you have like Aaron Black or like Kano or something, it's gonna be much more difficult because they're just people. Or like Sonya, she's just a really good soldier, and that's kind of hard to explain.
Jax,
there is this like whole thing.
It's like Black Widow with the Avengers.
Yeah,
like I got a pistol.
Yeah. There's this whole thing about revenants in the last 3 Mortal Kombat games. Basically, it's like when one of the Outworld people like kill you, like Quan Chi, who's like, I don't even explain who that is. It's going to take too long, but he like brings you back as a revenant, as like it's basically a zombie, but like
pretty much
at his service. But it's not your original body. It's like your body died, gets like incinerated or whatever, and then a new body gets made in this like pool thing, but it's a zombie body thing.
Does
Anyway,
your soul go into it?
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah. So you're under control. It's you, but not really. It's a whole thing. That's possible, but then like Sub-Zero so far has been the only one that I know of that's come back from that, and it's super convoluted. Like like I said, it makes sense in the video game. Like so he becomes Sub-Zero gets like turned into a cyborg, and in the Mortal Kombat universe, they take out your brain and your spine and insert it into like a cyborg, so your whole body gets discarded. So and then I think there might be like other little parts. I don't know all of the different body parts, but that's the main thing. And then Quan Chi decides he wants to use Sub-Zero as like a revenant, but he doesn't like the cyborg. So he rips out all the like the human parts from the cyborg and then recreates a new body and makes a revenant. And then the revenant somehow defeats that thing, the Shinnok and all that stuff. And then the Revenant becomes human Sub-Zero again. So it's super convoluted. It like went from like human to cyborg to Revenant to back. And that's
because he willed it.
Because he can.
Also, there's more than one Sub-Zero. So that changes things. And then like Scorpion is literally just from hell. So anything can happen there. Like,
just come back.
But
Hanzo.
So far, super excited. Like,
apparently, it's coming out the same weekend that Masters of the Universe is coming out.
Masters of the Universe is going to be a thing?
Oh, you haven't heard that yet?
No, I thought that they would just give up on that after they announced the next Thor movie. Like do you see the logo for it? It's straight up just gonna like we're gonna keep getting like more He-Man movies we never got from Thor.
Yeah, that's true. The logo Thunder does look very He-Man.
Yeah, even the last one, Ragnarok, it felt like a He-Man movie. You know?
Yeah, because it had like a little bit of almost like He-Man / Thundercats, because I feel like Thundercats had a lot more technology involved than He-Man did. He-Man was kind of more
barbaric.
More barbaric. I mean, he had a little bit, like you said, some spaceships and stuff in it, but
he rode on a
weird.
huge.
But yeah, I guess that's coming out too.
We don't know anything besides James Wan. Oh wait, Simon McCoy directing. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah,
but I dig it. I know somebody, Brian Foster, who over from Mob Crush, who's like even a bigger Mortal Kombat fan than I am, kind of said like the only thing I think most fans are kind of hoping that it's not a Liu Kang based story. Because he's cool, but we've had like 20 years of Liu Kang stories.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool to just follow someone else now.
That would be more fun.
But
I would dig that. Oh, yeah. Tom Hanks as
director,
Mr. Rogers.
Too Ugly for. I don't know any of these movies.
What has they? Is he only done? They're known for the Mortal Kombat movie that's in pre-production.
Wow, it's his first big shot.
That's all. He's never done anything else.
I'm a little worried about that, but
I mean, he looks like a smart guy though.
His name is Simon.
Yeah,
and he has glasses,
and he's
all right. He'll do all right.
Is he Scottish? McQuaid?
So here's the thing with Mortal Kombat.
Highlander?
If you just get a bunch of fans that are also good writers in a room and adapt the story they've done for the last 3 games, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, true that.
It's a fun story. It's kind of convoluted, but we're not going to see Mortal Kombat for a super dramatic, like life-changing movie. So I would even just like to see like the last 3 games stories put into a movie with maybe a little bit more thought in the connective tissue between them. And I think that'd be good.
Not
that'd be
really
like
bad CGI.
What's that?
And not bad CGI.
Dude, actually, the CGI in the games are like pretty dope. Like especially this last one. So I even said like the Mortal Kombat 11's like story mode. If they just put like a few million more dollars behind that to like up it like 2 or 3 more clicks, that's straight up just the movie.
Yeah.
Like they did such a good job with like the face movements and the details and stuff.
Do you remember the Final Fantasy movie?
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Spirits Within.
Yeah, like it was just really, I don't know. I have to watch it again. Like I have a feeling that like it's really bad now. Like
Probably.
at least CGI wise.
Because that was the first like full.
That was the first like full, completely. I don't know if they actually rotoscoped people acting or what with that.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but we'll see. But like Mortal Kombat the movie, like it's been a long time coming. I think it's been 95, so like over 20 years now, right?
Well, they had a second one, right?
Yeah, that one. Jeez. Like they literally went from one end of the spectrum to the other. I didn't love the first Mortal Kombat movie, but at that time, like in the mid 90s for an adaptation, they did what you expected, but also did it well. Like, you know how they interpreted He-Man into the movie? And like the details made sense for that time period. Like, well, it's the 90s, so this is going to translate to this, and this is going to translate to this. That's what they did for Mortal Kombat, but then they made it fun. so now we know. We just want to see the game in a movie. I don't want an explanation of like why Liu Kang is realistically doing whatever. He just controls fire. I don't need to know why.
Yeah.
Like he just does it.
I feel like they did a lot of that. They're like, let me explain this backstory. No, I understand. Wolverine's got claws. We're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Scorpions from hell. In the video games, the only explanation for Sub-Zero and his brother controlling ice is that there's cryomancers in the world and they happen to be them. Cool. That's good enough for me. Yeah. Like
it'd be funny if they're like, well, back in like, nope, moving on. Yeah. Like, stop. It's like the backstory. I want to tell you my backstory.
The game even has a little bit of lore that's interesting. Like, so as of recording this, Nightwolf has not been released as DLC, but has been announced several times. And this year was the first time they've told the story that Nightwolf, the name, is actually just like a title, like like the Black Panther or something. And it's been several different people, including female Nightwolves, which really stirred up the video game community because video gamers. But like, so this Nightwolf we get now may not be the one from Mortal Kombat 3. It may have been like generationally passed or something.
And that could make sense, more like a tribal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's things like that might be able to make a fatality happen, but then Nightwolf could still exist in like another movie or something like that, like. So, but that's the closest to like a backstory I might need. Like, I don't need to know like why he can do like green lightning and tomahawk and all this stuff. It's just cool to see. I just want to see it.
It'd be cool if like one of his fatalities was bringing back the original Nightwolf.
Ooh, maybe.
And then the green, like it's good, it's just like his
Ghost
energy.
dude.
Yeah, and he like kills you, and then disappears, and then the new Nightwolf finishes you off. That'd be freaking awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. And then they bring Sindel back. I don't know. It's a whole. There's so much story there to pick from. The only thing that's going to be tough is them picking what story to go with. The only thing I want them to do is pick one of those stories. I don't want them to try to make something completely new for it because there's so much good story already. If they just try to make a new story, it's not going to make any sense. Like, we already have 100 stories. So,
speaking of that, we're going to end here, but I think in the next one we should probably pick up with probably the Thor thing that come out if we're talking about, because we just went into it a little bit. We'll talk about
Phase 4.
She-Thor. Next time on Yellow Spandex. Peace.